What's going on, guys? Got another comic book haul video for you. I picked up most of these books at the Bloomington Toy and Comic Convention about 3 weeks ago, I think. So it was up in Bloomington, Indiana. It was about a 2-hour drive. I've known about the convention because on Facebook they were advertising. They were saying it was the first time it had been back since COVID, so they were expecting a lot of vendors. So I was a little excited, and it was only, I think, $8 to get in or something. It was pretty cheap. But unfortunately, it was mostly toys. There was maybe 6 or 7 comic book vendors, and maybe 30 other vendors selling like toys and things like that. There was a few artists there too, so that was cool. But I was a little disappointed in the comic book selection. There's only 2 booths that I got books from, and most of them, and I think one booth I only got 1 book from, and the other booth I got everything else from. So we'll start with the books I got. These were all $1 a piece. Starting with Double Dragon 5. The booth was Prideland Comics. I think they're out of Indianapolis. I've never been there before, but they had a whole bunch of $1 boxes, maybe 15 long boxes sorted by Marvel and DC and Independent, so that was cool. Starting off with Double Dragon number 5, just trying to complete this run. It was a 6-issue miniseries based on the video game, obviously, from the late 90s, late 80s, early 90s. So I got number 5 and number 6. Number 6 is the last issue. I think I've only got number 4 to find now, so almost got that run complete. I think actually Will Sportasio did the covers on some of the early issues. I wasn't 100% sure on that, but I was checking on these, and he did not do the covers on these, but I think he did the cover number 1, so that's pretty cool. The only book that I found that I'm going to try to flip is this Spider-Girl number 0. I think this is the reprint of the What If Spider-Girl that had her first appearance. The What If one goes for, I think, about $100 or so. This one goes for about 10 or 15, so not quite as much as a What If, but hopefully be able to get a few bucks for it. Next, to get this Devil's Reign, Chapter 1. This is the Top Cow Marvel crossover. This is the Mark Silvestri cover. So I think this is an 8 or 10 issue miniseries. I can never remember. I've got most of them now, I think, and I'm just working on getting all the covers, because I think there's several covers for each issue. So those are done by a lot of my favorite artists from the 90s. This one's Mark Silvestri. I think Michael Turner did some of them. David Finch, maybe? I'm not sure, but they're all really cool. So love Silver Surfer. I'm not sure who Weapon Zero is. I assume that's maybe from Darkness or Witchblade universe, since it's Mark Silvestri drawing it, but not sure. Next, you got Incredible Hulk 337. This is McFarlane doing the interiors. It's not a McFarlane cover, but he did the interior work. So it's McFarlane doing Hulk, and it looks like X Factor's a guest star in this one, so that's pretty cool. And it was a newsstand. It's not in great shape, but for only $1, I'm not going to say no to that. Found a couple of Nova issues for my run. This got number 16. This was a 25-issue run. I think I'm about halfway there now. So I got 16, 17, and 22. These are all in pretty good shape. I don't think any of these... Oh, these were all on bags and boards, because I still got the Prideland comic stickers on there. So that was good. I wasn't just digging in raw, completely unprotected books. Next, found Punisher number 5. This is from volume 1, I guess, if you consider volume 1 the miniseries. Volume 2 is his first ongoing solo title. That's what this is from. I think this was the only one out of the first 20 or so, except for number 1, that I'm still missing, that I still need. So definitely going to keep my eyes out for number 1. I found a pretty beat up copy of number 1 at one of my local shops a few months ago. They were only asking $7 for it, which is a great price, but the cover was basically falling off, so I didn't pull the trigger on it. So I'll hold out a little longer till I can find a better copy. I don't expect to find that in the dollar bin unless it's a beat up copy like that, but if I find a nice copy for like 20 or 30 bucks, I don't mind paying. Next, I got some X-Men books. I think this is, yeah, these will be the last stack from the Prideland vendor. So this is 220. This is a Mark Silvestri cover. I think that's Forge there. Yeah, on the front with Storm and her mohawk. So that's pretty cool. 233. 223. That is not a Mark Silvestri cover, but another Storm mohawk fighting off the snake monster. I don't know if they're in the Savage Land there or not, or if that's like the Brood. I'm not 100% sure. 229, that is a Mark Silvestri cover. Storm back to her big 80s hair, not the mohawk anymore. And Colossus and Wolverine there standing on a pile of, I don't know, they're not dead bodies, they look like androids or some kind of Terminator. This dude's kind of like looking at you. He's kind of freaky looking. 231, another. Now, this is not Mark Silvestri. This is Leonardi. I think it's either Paul or Tom Leonardi. He was a good artist too. I don't know if he's still around, but he did a lot of the Cloak and Dagger stuff, and he did X-Men, obviously. And I got 276, just a cool Jim Lee cover. He was doing, I think he did the interiors on this as well. This was shortly before he left to relaunch the Adjectiveless X-Men run. And then the last X-Men book is 284. This is a Whilce Portacio cover, I believe. Got cool guy Bishop, Archangel, Storm, Colossus, all those cool guys on there. So really cool. Really happy to find these. I'm slowly filling out the run for the mid, I don't know, early 200s to about 300. Obviously the big book in there is the first appearance at Gambit. 266. I don't have that. I don't actually think I had that when I collected back in the early 90s when it came out either. I missed that one. So I've never had that book. I doubt very much I'm going to find it in a dollar bin, obviously, unless it's super beat up, but I'll keep my eyes open just in case. So those were all books from Prideland Comics. Those were all $1. And then the only other book I found at another vendor was this Gears of War book. It says it's a prelude to Gears of War 3. There's no number on it or anything. I think this was before the main Wildstorm ongoing series launched. So the booth I got it from, the vendor, she said she couldn't really find anything online about it. So I think this was either $1 or $2 were her books. So I was happy to find that. It's got a little bit of water damage, or it's kind of like, here, I'll show you. I got wavy. Let's get the wavy pages. I don't know if you'll be able to see. Can't really tell. Maybe a little bit there. So yeah, it's dented a little bit. And there's some spine ticks on the inside too. And on the side there. But I think I saw a listing online, like 20 or 30 bucks or something. I can't remember if there were any sold listings recently, but I was happy to find that. I'd never seen it before, so $2, pick it up, why not? So the comic convention was kind of a bust. Like I said, there was only like 6 or 7 comic vendors. Most of the priced books were overpriced, and there were only those. There was another vendor with dollar books, but they didn't really have anything that I wanted, and they didn't have a lot of it. There was like 3 short boxes or something, so I went through those pretty quick. And I was done looking through everything probably after about an hour and a half, so I was kind of bummed out because it took me longer to drive there than it did to spend, or than the time I actually spent at the con. So I went to a local comic shop in Bloomington, and it was not very good. They had, I guess, taken all their good stuff to the convention, and I looked through it and didn't find anything when I was at the convention, but the guy said they had more at their store, and I went to the store and they didn't really have a whole lot, so that was kind of a bummer. I didn't get anything there, and then I looked up on my phone to see if there were any other comic shops in Bloomington, and they said there was one in the mall, So I drove to the mall, and it was closed. The mall wasn't closed. The store inside had shut down, which was kind of a bummer because it was still showing up as open on Google and everything inside the mall. But they were closed. I saw the sign, but there was an empty store and nothing on the inside. So that was a bummer. But they did have a half-price books in the area. It was a half-price books outlet store. So I went over there and dug through their comics and found a couple of things, just 2 books. Found the Street Fighter Shadaloo Special Annual #1. This is the cover B, it looks like. Just a cool Street Fighter book for $1. So anytime I find those for $1 with cool covers, I'll pick them up. And then I got this Superman Gallery. This is #1. This is the second print. Not that that matters. These don't go for anything. But the reason I got this, it has just a bunch of artist renderings of Superman. And there's a Todd McFarlane one in here that I like. So that's why I picked it up. There it is. So Todd McFarlane and I guess Craig Russell does the inks. So that was cool. And then on the inside, it's just got a whole bunch of other people doing it. That's cool. There's Mobius. There's Joe Shuster on the left there. So old school. Frank Miller. John Byrne. That's kind of cool. That one looks like Christopher Reeve. There's the McFarlane one. That is Troy Gemmett and Tom Grummett and Jerry Ordway. Oh, that's cool. Mike Zeck. Looks like the Punisher cover with all the bullets coming in, except they're bouncing off of Superman. Looks like an animation cell or something. So, I don't know. I like the gallery books. They show a bunch of different artists doing their interpretation of the subject. So, like I said, it doesn't go for anything, but it's been on my radar since I knew that McFarlane spread was in there. So, that was cool. So that's all I got from the con. I am going to show this, though. This is not a comic book. This is a art book, I guess, from Frank Cho. It's kind of related to conventions because he usually only sells these at conventions. But I follow there's an art Frank Cho like fan group or whatever on Facebook. So I follow that, and the guy that runs it said he's going to sell some of these that he usually only sells at conventions. So he put those up and was asking for people to order. So this was, I think it was $60 and then like $10 shipping or something. So it was about $70 for the whole thing. And it's pretty thick. And it's just a bunch of sketch covers basically. There's one of the Frankenstein. I think that's Liberty Meadows. And then we got Poison Ivy. Some Original Sin. Just a bunch of really cool covers. Sketch covers that he's done. I think these have all been done in the last year or so. So they're the original sketches he did. So it'd be impossible to get these unless you owned the actual sketchbooks or the sketch comics that he did the covers for. That one's kind of funny. It's got Power Girl in her tan line. I like this one. This is Crypto ripping off Superman's arm or Wonder Woman's arm or somebody's arm, yeah. So that's really funny. So it's cool. It's like the stuff you're not going to be able to find anywhere other than an art book. That's funny too. It's got Sandman, and then instead of Death, it's got Lady Death there talking to Sandman. And the running joke through most of these is the wheat cakes thing. Since Frank Cho draws the girls a little thicker than normal, there's a joke of him always eating wheat cakes, especially in the Spider-Man ones. I do like the Slave Leia outfit. That's funny. And then the Muppets, Pink Panther. That's good. It's Black Panther wearing the Pink Panther costume. It's just funny. I just like his sense of humor. It's about the sense of humor of a 12-year-old, so that appeals to me quite a bit. So that one's cool. This was the only bummer one. It was a two-page spread. It's got She-Ra on Battle Cat there and Snarf down there, but it's cut off like in the middle because that's where her face is. It's just so that's kind of a bummer. But all the other ones are easy to be seen. That's funny. It's got the Watcher on there, looking in on Ben Grimm and his girlfriend. So it's just a neat little thing. I was happy to get Even when I wasn't collecting comics, I was still buying art books just because the art is the main thing about the comics that appeals to me. So I was happy to find this through his website or through the Facebook group. So, and he even signed it. I don't really care about that, but he's got a messy signature, but whatever. I was happy to add that to my collection. It's kind of a, like I said, kind of a con adjacent purchase, but I didn't pick up much at the Bloomington con, so I thought I'd throw that one in here as well. So hope you liked it, guys. Keep it short this time. Talk to you later. Bye.